podcast. Great show today. We are in Pequeña Havana, Little Havana, 305 in Southwest 13th 8th Street. Great outside. First time that we're shooting outside with a great guest instructor, Khru Dave. And we have Reach Combat in the house. Before we begin, since we are in 305 and we're in Calle Ocho, let me give you a little bit of Cuban coffee.
Right.
And we have it con pan de bono, Colombia. Khru Dave's parents are from Colombia. I am from Cuba. My partner's from Colombia. Also, we have Reach Combat over here. Cuban Spanish energy drink. This is Cuban Red Bull.
Okay, so go get right ahead.
Life, health, success. Vida, salud y éxito. Khru Dave, thank you so much for coming today to our podcast and show, for doing the interview. You've been in the scene for a while and here in the 305 Fight scene. You train a lot of fighters, have a lot of experience, and also show respect and honor. So it's a privilege to interview you and talk about the martial arts scenes in Miami. So thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So first of all, Khru Dave, Beautiful Violence. I'm always going to your Instagram. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in the martial arts?
Well, my dad was a martial arts instructor as a kid, and so I had no choice. And really starting off as a kid, I was resistant. I didn't think it was cool. I didn't think it was something that I wanted to do. And in 1991, they took me to a show before MMA was even a word. They took me to a shoot fighting show, and by the end of that day, I was convinced that there was nothing else I'd want to do. And I think I've been able to travel the world and do all kinds of things and chase the dream that I've had as a kid, and I'm really lucky to be there. You know?
Excellent, excellent. Yes, shoot fighting. Shout out to Barbell, all the shoot fighting over there, the school, Sinfo Noel that has Tiger and Dragon. Shout out to all the martial arts instructors. What motivated me was the old episodes of David Carradine, Kung Fu. I know that you have your system and your group and your school is Beautiful Violence, correct? Mm-hmm. What is the social media?
Social media is Beautiful Violence Miami, Beautiful Violence _ Miami.
Excellent. So let's support all the local businesses, Party Cake Bakery, 305 Fights TV, Beautiful Violence. What are the programs you have? You have striking, Muay Thai. What are the things that you're doing over there?
My specialty, my heart and soul is really Muay Thai. I teach on behalf of Adrian Chai of the World Thai Boxing Association, and I get to travel the world and spread his word, and that's really my base. But I have fighters that come from boxing backgrounds, and I fought as an amateur and a professional in boxing, and I help a lot of fighters in boxing. I fought for Strikeforce and MMA, and I do a lot of fighting, work with guys in MMA too, but my specialty and most of my day is going to be in the world of Muay Thai and fitness programs.
Excellent. Now that you mentioned Strikeforce and MMA, in MMA, mixed martial arts and Muay Thai, and combat sports in general, what does it take to be a champion?
I think there are many pieces, many recipes that can make a cake, and there's many different kinds of cake, but all of them have a couple of things, and I think discipline and willingness to push past even in difficult times. The perseverance that separates people that are kind of good to what a champion might be. I think those are the things that make a difference. I see a lot of athletes that start off, especially in our local scene, that have the athleticism, but I think the discipline and the perseverance that separates a champion.
Yes, the perseverance. And you know what's funny? That's a beautiful thing about martial arts and combat sports, that those virtues of discipline can cross over to life. To be a champion in life and be successful in anything. Even through these challenging times, we have to persevere. That takes me to the question, being an instructor and teaching not only combat sports, but martial arts. The culture, the philosophy. What do you think is the specialness or the features or the benefits of the martial arts?
Well, the martial arts can be a vehicle to making yourself better, and that's on so many levels in so many ways, and I think everybody might have to take that on their own path and their own journey. I really feel like it's given me a purpose and given me a way to share those things with other people. But during this COVID, it really, I think it tested us all as businessmen and as my overall purpose, and it made me kind of reach out to the people that helped me. So we joined 11 of us together and we made a website called livingmuaythai.com. And within that website, it's 11 of the world's most well-known coaches from all different parts of the world, and we all kind of teach virtual classes. We have an online library of Adrian Chai's teachings, and I feel like we get to reach that discipline and perseverance and kind of talk into all of the ways that martial arts can help.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned Grandmaster Chai, I followed him. I have a lot of friends that have trained with him and whatnot. And what I like that, everybody thinks like, for example, combat sports, Muay Thai, MMA is just a aggressive, violent thing. But if you catch any of his seminars, his teachings, you'll see he touches about the history, the philosophy, and the tactics. I mean, really good technique, really good tactics. You see there's a lot more skill involved. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm glad you used the word tactics. In my classes, I try to teach people that there are tactics and there are strategy. And a strategy can apply across the board, and the tactics can change, and it wouldn't really matter. And if I popped up out of nowhere and shot you in the head, you wouldn't be able to tell me what caliber of bullet it was, right? But the strategy that got me to that position is what wins. And I feel like the concepts of boxing and Muay Thai kind of play into all combat sports across the board. And if somebody had a background in any martial art, that becomes their science. And the same that biology and physics are both quality science. Each one can play its way into the game.
You talked about a topic that I'm very big about. In fact, I was talking to Maximum Reach Combat. Is you have a lot of young men, they're training hard, they're getting in shape. What I like to see also in the 305Fights events and all the events, clean, sharp technique and the strategy and the tactics. I think that that's something that needs to be focused on. Like this fight that's coming up, the fight with, we have next UFC, we have Cormier and Miocic. How do you say his name? Miocic?
Miocic?
Yeah, Miocic. They fought twice already. So I feel that the one that comes with the right strategy is going to win. What do you think about that fight?
In that fight, I think we're gonna talk about who dictates the pace and the timing. If that fight takes place at the range that DC wants it to be, I really believe that he has every chance of winning that fight. But that's a matter of who dictates the space between them. And I feel like controlling that can be in the way of fakes, it can be in the way of footwork, it can be in the way of a lot of things. But how it plays out is going to be who puts their place.
Yeah, you talked about two elements that we like to work also in natural motion systems. In our system is controlling the distance and timing. Here we go about the elements of combat. There is a science to this. There's also, tomorrow, we have Barry Lloreda from Miami. Master Lloreda, her father's a very good friend of mine. We did 30 years ago a movie called Only the Strong. She's fighting now in Bellator. She's 2-0. She has a tough girl coming up fighting. She comes from a taekwondo background, a striking background, and the other girl has good wrestling, good grappling. So again, I think it's going to be to the strategy and tactics and who fights their fight. Like Mayweather's very good, having everybody fight their fight. I want to reach everybody, her and everybody from 305 that's going out there. I want to reach them success. If you notice, just recently we had in bare knuckles, we had Louis the Baboon win the bare knuckle, representing 305. We want everybody, when they think about South Florida, South of LA 305, to think, wow, that's a hotbed of martial arts. Promoting all the schools and all the martial arts. Talking about the school and the martial arts and the combat sports, how do you feel the arena or the timing right now for martial arts and combat sports is happening?
I think it's a really special time. There's never been a worldwide effect in my life I could ever think of. No event has affected the whole world at once in any time I could ever imagine. But it seems like a time where athletes and sports and those things that take the public and take the fans and take the world to another place for at least a little while, that little vacation you get while you get to watch UFC, I think that might be more important than ever now.
Yes. And I tell people all the time that they don't understand the psychological benefits of combat sports, of martial arts. Like when you take time to watch a fight or take time to go to class, you at least take time to forget about everything else. I always say you take a mental vacation. Yep. And that's what helps the mind and the spirit for the health, the mind and spirit. So I'm really excited. We have the Fight Island that just started. They're going back to now Las Vegas, the Epic Center. These fights are happening now. In October, which I think it'll be in Fight Island, it's going to be Khabib and Justin Gaethje, who has a Trevor Berwick, a tremendous striking coach. What do you think about that fight?
I'm really, really interested in that fight. I think Justin Gaethje is the type of challenge that Khabib hasn't been up against yet. I think we always speak. I will look at Khabib as one of the greatest of all time, and everyone might even tell the story of him being the greatest of all time. And a lot of times we'll say that he's the best wrestler of all time, but his wrestling game is very, very specific. He doesn't take anybody down in the middle of the cage. And he's never been cut, and he's never been knocked down. And good luck keeping Justin Gaethje on the cage. I've never seen anybody do that. And I've never seen anybody come out of a fight without a cut or a knockdown from Justin Gaethje. So I think this will be a test that Khabib hasn't seen just yet.
Great point. You know, and that's why we love having all this wonderful talent of instructors that we have in the 305 schools, giving their technical knowledge, because that's so good points. We're educating people when they're seeing a fight to see the technology behind it. I say the same thing. Look, hands down, Khabib and rest in peace his father. Those guys are martial artists. They're combat legends. He's going to be tough to beat. But I know everybody said it, but I'm going to agree with you. This is going to be his toughest fight because Gaethje's striking has really been improving. Trevor Berwick is a coach that is very technical. I hear him talking about a lot of things. His background is wrestling. His coach, Trevor Whitman, is helping him with a lot of technology. He just fought Ferguson, the Blessed, which is an incredible striker. And he said he's going to, with the leg kicks. So
I was interested in that fight though because I was really glad to see that Trevor Whitman, Justin Gaethje were very aware of the holes that have been in Tony Ferguson's game the entire time. Tony Ferguson's a great fighter and he was able to overcome a lot of even making mistakes and getting them wrong. But he makes some fundamental boxing mistakes a lot of the time, and Justin Gaethje was calling him on it.
Yes, he's been improving. So you got a guy that's an all-American wrestler, improving in his striking, keeping it in the center, not going to the cage. So it's going to be an awesome fight. This is great. We're in Calle 8, 305 Fights TV. Estamos en la Calle 8, 305 con Khru Dave. Tremendo show. I want to thank all our sponsors, Party Cake Bakery, Reach Combat, Dodge Sports, Miami Media, Beautiful Violence. Any shout outs to anybody you want to give out?
Just really glad to be part of the livingmuaythai.com community.
Excellent. 305 Fights is where the champions rise, 305, donde suben los campeones. Before we end, we have to give un pan de mono from Cuba and Colombia. Khru Dave, how do you like this weather in the South Florida 305 Fights?
It's a day where I'm just reminded how lucky I am to be here.
Excellent.
.305 Fights, where champions rise.